After episode 1 of Arcadia, I logged back onto the server to find my temporary home vandalized by the campfire crew. Going inside, all my chests were filled with this disgusting orange and green vegetable, the carrot. And this was unacceptable. To give a little backstory, in the other series we recently participated in, Final Stand, Beanbon and I got into a small debate over which food source was better, carrots or potatoes. And it seems that the debate has made its way to Arcadia, where Bean is the leader of Team Carrot, with the support of the Campfire crew, and I the leader of Team Potato, with support from some of the other village inhabitants. And if the Campfire crew wanted to start this battle, I would not hold back. You see, the Campfire crew has this so-called savior named Lord Salomon, and if the crew wanted to deface my property, I would return the favor. So the first step would to get into the proper attire. In the right attire, aka a potato skin, it was time to start the first part of our little prank. The first step was to gather up a bunch of my own heads, which would act like little potato blocks, and I could use these around the server, which means I must die a bit. Anyways, 25 deaths later, and we had just enough potato heads to last us a bit. The next part would be to get some new banners made, but at this point in time, I was very poor and didn't have enough diamonds to go buy wool from one of the local shops. So I went out to explore and gather up some supplies. To sum this up, basically I found a horse, killed some squid for ink sacs to make black dye, sheared some sheeps, found this pretty cool mountain crater thingy, made it back home, made a small pen for our horse, and then ended our little trip off with adding some crafting tables to the mess of tables at spawn that Scuba started. I then gathered up some flowers before going to make our first banner of the season. And to be honest, I did not like this banner, but I ended up making a total of 4 anyways, just to have them for the time being. At this point, being very poor was getting to me and limiting my plans for revenge. So I decided to start making a little mine underneath our starter base, which may or may not hold a future tunnel bore. Like any Minecraft pro, I dug straight down to Y level -59. Once at the bottom, I began making a water elevator because no one has time to climb scaffolding, and I totally didn't drown in the process of making it. With the water elevator done, I began digging out a large area, and this was mostly really boring until I found some blue shiny rocks. With the room all dug out, I went back to the surface where I spent some of the diamonds I found on some of the local shops before heading over to the XP farm to add infinity to my bow, naming it Boba Fett. At this point, there was too many people on the server for me to continue working on the prank, so I decided to start working on the second thing I had planned for this episode. Remember in episode 1 where I found that slime chunk? Well, at this point, no one on the server had made a slime farm, and I needed slime for other stuff, so I decided to go ahead and make a simple slime farm. The first thing to do was to figure out which chunks had slime spawning, and because we don't know the seed this season, the best way to go about this was to mark out the surrounding chunk borders with walls and wait to see which chunks had slime spawning within them. This was a lot of just waiting around, so while I had replay mod running to verify which areas had spawns, I ran around the cave system a bit more to see if I could light up the surrounding region. During this time, I managed to find more diamonds, kill a few mobs, found another stone diamond ore, which I quickly made a silk touch pickaxe before mining. Anyways, after a bit, I knew that there was actually a few chunks with slime spawning right next to each other, and this was where a simple project took a bit of a turn into something more complex. So I began digging out areas within some of the chunks that would be used to spawn slimes. As my digging went on, I did manage to find a few veins of diamonds, which I guess is one perk of the suffering mining deep slate brings. With a good bit of the process made, I decided to head over to the nether to gather up some shroom lights to avoid having to spam torches within the farm, and to grab some extra magma blocks for the killing chamber. Back in the overworld, it was time to start working on the killing chamber itself. Now, because this farm ended up being a lot larger than initially expected, we would have to make some changes later on. But for now, the plan had remained the same. I was hoping to have the slimes fall into one chamber, and to speed up the killing process, I would have the slimes fall through lava before landing on the magma blocks, which is why I started placing down these signs. With the signs placed, it was time to dig out the remaining parts of the killing chamber and collection system. Now, with the collection system done, I began working on placing some of the iron golems, which would help attract the slimes. Once the iron golems were in place, I decided to watch the farm a bit to see how it was doing, and the issue I was hoping to avoid was very unavoidable. Basically, the farm being at this point 7 chunks total, it made it so that when slimes spawned farther away from the drop down area, they wouldn't be able to target onto the golems. So I honestly stopped recording at this point to try and figure out the best ways to resolve this problem. I did eventually decide to add iron golems into each chunk, making separate full areas within those chunks. But as I fixed the farm, I forgot to press record again, so you'll have to magically act like you saw me build this all. Anyways, with the farm done, I could finally leave the cave happy, and as I resurfaced, I was summoned to Husk, Taffy's, and Triss's base area to hang out. To sum this adventure up, I committed some murder and was murdered in return. After a bit of time, just messing around with everyone, we all went our separate ways, and I decided that this was a good time to go prank the campfire crew. So to start off, I replaced the heads of their savior Solomon and renamed him to Mr. Potato Head. I then started replacing their campfire banners with the ones I had made earlier, and adding some potato banners around their little campsite. During this, I may have forgotten that Asterix was a part of the campfire crew until he caught me defacing property, but because he is one with the potatoes, he turned a blind eye. Then, as my vandalism was coming to an end, Liz showed up. After some convincing, she also turned a blind eye, but not before laughing at my amazing campfire banners and asking for one.
Okay. Can I have one? Just
Yes.
for funsies. Okay. Thanks.
And then you can have a potato one as well if you so desire.
Oh my god! I love it. A golden potato.
Yes.
Yes.
Liz also reminded me of Sunti's giant base, and I decided that it too deserved some of my decorating help, which Sunti had something to say about later. So, it was you. This entire time, it was you.
What?
You've been the one putting banners at my base.
One time, yeah.
And then, I managed to come back and find a book and a squid head that you left me.
Because you ruined our whole campsite.
I didn't
Look at these
ruin-
banners.
They're
You ruined our thingy. What is it? Salmon.
I had to set my point.
You had to set your point? Okay, we are setting our point. If you're attacking us one more time, it's war.
So be it. I'm not
Okay.
taking
Now,
back
people.
my actions. I'm not taking it back
Asterix?
what I've done. Asterix helped.
Help with what?
Asterix.
Hmm?
You helped me.
Help with what?
My banners.
Asterix.
No.
Are you betraying us?
No.
Liz helped me too.
Liz?
Well, we allowed you to place them, but we didn't help.
Liz took one of my banners. She
What?
laughed at them.
What?
See, I'm just here to spread the word about potatoes. I just put banners up in the trading hall, okay? I had to make sure that I got banners
I was
everywhere,
about
okay?
to sleep peacefully, and now
Okay,
there's
so-
that
so-
banner.
So it's okay. Ready? I will take out my banners from the trading hall. The trading hall is safe. And here. I'll do it on the outside too. I unmarked the trading hall, okay?
Good.
It's, look, easy as that. Problem solved. We're good. Happy times.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
And if you don't accept that, then, well, that sucks for you, because I'm
Well,
ready to
Bean
do a
is
lot of
still in
things.
my crew, so if you're attacking Bean, you're attacking the crew. Remember that.
It's not my fault you guys chose to base with him. Oh,
I don't want to see you
I
here.
don't mean to upset you, Sunti. I'm just here to exist peacefully. Placing down banners.
It was not peacefully getting away with the heads and putting some stupid potatoes on our Solomon.
Solomon wanted them. He told me, and
Solomon
he
did not
told me,
want them.
he told me when I died in Final Stand to bring the potatoes to Arcadia.
That is, yeah,
Excuse you.
that is not correct to replace the heads of Solomon.
Because he asked me to.
No, I don't think so.
He did.
I believe that is wrong.
He whispered in the walls.
Can you leave?
You really want me to leave?
Yes.
You say so.
Bro! Get out!
You're welcome. But all pranks done and war started, there was one last thing I needed to do in order to satisfy the potato gods. So I headed over to the shopping district where I made a little home for the server's newest Lord Taters. On behalf of all the potatoes, I was also instructed to provide some complimentary potato banners and golden potatoes, with the help of sylphs, of course, so that any other potato-loving member on the server could show their support of Lord Tater. And before I could officially end off this episode, there was one last thing I would need to do. The server officially decided that it was time to kill the Ender Dragon. So I traveled back to my homeland with the rest of the group, and we killed the dragon. There was like 15 of us though, so this battle ended basically a minute after it started. But in all seriousness, the battle was still a success, and I plan to make a trip back to the end in a future video for more adventuring. Being said, I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, please consider leaving a big fat thumbs up, and feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more episodes in the future. Hopefully, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out. Bye.